1v1 time in the USA, Warriors of Chaos against Tomb Kings. Let's have some fun here today, huh? So we have ourselves a Warriors of Chaos army. We've got 3 Warriors of Chaos, the actual Chaos Warriors themselves. One of them are the Mirror Guard here. Let me actually just go back to zooming in on them. That just would have made way more sense. And these guys here are pretty much like your normal Warriors of Chaos. They've got silver shields instead of bronze shields. They have a little bit better stat line. For the most part, they're a really good matchup when it comes to Tomb Kings, because the Tomb Kings are all about just kind of holding the line. There's not much in the Tomb King infantry arsenal that's really going to challenge these guys. The only thing that would be is really halberds, and those in and of themselves they can still really kind of be put to the challenge. On the wings, we have 3 total units of Chaos Marauders here. Again, chaff units against relative chaff units. We've got 2 units of Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes. These guys with their AP values are going to be able to threaten any of the larger constructs that we would normally see in a Tomb King army. Now, in addition to that, we do have our leadership, which is just trudging its way over here, which is Archaon, the Ever-Chosen, and a Dragon Ogre SHAGGOTH. In addition to Dragon Ogre SHAGGOTH, we also have these Summoners of Rage, which are the Dragon Ogre's Regiment of Renown. Better stat line, they have that magic damage that they're going to be doing. Also, they have access to a great Chain Lightning ability. We'll see that being used here a little bit. With Archaon, I chose Archaon because I wanted access to the Lore of Fire. And you know what? He's got a little bit of a buff since the Vampire Coast came out, and I wanted to give him some good justice. Now, our opponent, on the other hand, has got a nice line of Skeleton Warriors, as to be expected. He's got 1, 2, 3 units of Ushabti Greatbow, and one of them being, of course, the Chosen of the Gods. Now, these guys, they do have that Thunder Armor, well, not really Thunder Armor, it's a Shield Breaker ability. In addition to that, all of them are AP damage, even in their melee is AP damage. And on top of it, the way these guys actually shoot their missiles, they do deploy down into infantry a little bit more deadly-like. Now, in the back, we've got 2 units of Halberds, then 2 supporting units of Skeleton Spearmen, with one of them being the King Nekesh's Scorpion Legion. These guys just simply have a poison on their attack, and a little bit better stats as well. Now, my 2 Poison Hounds are kind of coming over here to do some scouting here. Initially, this is a big hill, so we don't know where our opponents are to start off. We both have to kind of charge up this hill and see what happens. Well, it's actually normal play. So you can see here, trying to get some scouting action going with these Chaos Warhounds, trying to kind of get up to this front line as fast as possible, keeping these Marauder Horsemen in reserve. The big point of these guys is to use them to hunt constructs. I think that even includes these Ushabti Greatbows, but it's the bigger, larger ones like the Doom Pussy and the Carrion War Sphinx that we're really looking for, which actually is the Doom Pussy. Now, right here, we're doing just a big charge across the way, trying to get up in that face, get locked into that front combat. I know I can win that combat with these Chaos Warriors against these Skeleton Warriors. So that's the big thing here, is getting across the line, fully engaged, get our Marauders in there. We can even use them to push the back line if we can, and across the way, right here, we're going to have our other Chaos Warriors fill in this gap here in just a second. Now, for their leadership, they did go with Cetra on foot, which is a good call here, as well as a Tomb Prince and a great little Tomb. Oh, I'm sorry, she's got 2 Tomb Princes, it seemed. I thought he had our Necrotect. The symbol completely confused me. Now, we're getting Archaon to spill in here with our Shaggoth. Wanting to get a little damage here onto Cetra. We do have to watch out. He does quite a bit of AP damage, especially anti-large at 470. That was 460, but that would be the Shaggoth. Shaggoth is taking quite a bit of damage from those. Ooh, that flaming head just kind of ripping through that skeleton line, doing a lot of initial damage here up front. Of course, as always, you want to be using Lore of Fire against your Tomb Kings, unless, of course, you want to go with a different lore. But Lore of Fire has got such a great use and utility here, doing a crap ton of damage to these lightly armored units, completely murking them. We're going to be getting these Marauder Horsemen onto these Chosen of the Gods. We're having to push back our Dragon Ogre SHAGGOTH. It has taken considerable amount of damage from those Ushabti Greatbows. We want to pull him back, hide him behind this rock here, do some damage. Pushing in our Chaos Warhounds with poison. Now, really, we're going to get a better view of the combat here. Really, what we want to do here is we want to try and lance into these pockets with our Warhounds. You know, using the shift command, I've kind of dragged up a little path for them to follow to hopefully get up and in that ass. But, you know, you do have 2, 3 anti-large units you have to deal with in the back line. We're pushing these Chaos Marauders also into these Ushabti Greatbows. They're not looking to just win that fight outright, but they're looking to just shut down that range capabilities there. Throwing excuse me, throwing axes going off into those Ushabti Great Bow, and we have Archaon the Ever-Chosen and Cetra duking it out over there. In a pretty actually bad situation for Archaon. I mean, there's a lot of anti-large there, so we're pulling him out of that fight, getting him in a better situation before bringing in these Summoners of Rage to kind of help do some damage here. Getting a summon in from that Ushabti there. Looks like we probably missed it, but there was a chain lightning that whizzed by here by those Skeleton Warriors earlier. There it is. Summoners of Rage going to just almost said eat some ass, but kick some ass here. Dropping the Thunder Hammer. Pushing these Warhounds. Unfortunately got a little hit by these Tomb Guards with halberds. We have King Nekef's Scorpion Legion pushing up into what are two units that are just kind of sitting there, unfortunately. I apologize for the frame rate dropping here. But we're getting Cetra, Archaon onto this group, with Cetra coming back into them, doing a little bit of damage here onto Archaon. He's taking quite a bit. When you see that huge chunk of health he just lost? The Dragon Ogre Shaggoth is in reserve for the most part right now. We don't want to lose him quite yet. We want to tie up some of that range firing a little bit more before we dedicate him to another fight. But Archaon is in a pretty bad situation here. A lot of damage is being poured into him from this unit of Tomb Guards with halberds, from this Tomb Prince from Cetra himself, kicking off a little Flaming Sword of Ruin as we pull back. That'll help out considerably with some weapon melee damage, some missile damage, and fire damage from the Summoners of Rage. We're also going to be pushing in our lovely Dragon Ogre Shaggoth back into that fight, going balls out for Cetra, or I guess Dragon Balls out for Cetra, and then pushing Archaon back in and popping Chosen of the Gods here. Look at that fat bonus. 60% to AP weapon damage and a 32% bonus to splash damage. Cetra shall not be standing through this one. Sure, he does serve. Or does not serve, he rules. But today, he's been served a whipping can of Flaming Sword of Ruin up the butthole. You can see that unit of Skeleton Spearmen kind of getting a little lost over there. Unit of Chaos Warriors just finishing up these Ushabti before we can kind of come around for the rest of this portion of the army. Got a unit of Marauders coming back online, and Chaos Warhounds to try and get up into these Ushabti Great Bows. Unfortunately, my Marauder Horsemen, I didn't micro them quite well enough, and they did get a little bit involved too much in melee. So they were kind of attacked by some Spearman action. But our Summoners of Rage, Archaon, Shaggoths, and the Mirror Guard are all in well enough health that they can push on a lot of damage into these Ushabti Great Bows, as the other ones kind of get locked up in some melee here. Really all that's left now is this one Tomb Prince. The other one fell in this melee earlier. But it's a matter of knocking down that leadership, completely destroying the Tomb King's line, so we can really bring the victory home here. There's not really much else our Tomb King and opponent can do at this point. We've locked up all of his... This is, I think... There it is. Does rip into my own units, but I really wanted to use it before the fight did end here. Another Flaming Sword of Ruin. Kicking off, we want to put this Tomb Guard... By Tomb Guard, I mean Tomb Prince, out of the fight here. He does have anti-large and AP, so he is a bit of a threat to both these targets here. But we're just looking to surround and beat upon that Prophet Shield like a drum. Really kind of put him down and under. Now, this was a really fun fight, a really great fight. Usually, I don't really use Marauder Horsemen that often, but I knew that in this situation, they could be put to great use. You want to use those Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes. Even if you're in a Beastman situation, using those throwing axe Centigores are really great to crack open large, heavily armored constructs, large, heavily armored cav units, heavily armored, important lords, legendary lords, is what I was thinking of. But really, those Marauder Horsemen are going to do a considerable amount of damage for you, or at least just keep a lot of threat going. They did only get about a total of 19 kills, but their targets were Ushabti, which are a low unit count unit, so that's okay by me. Now you can see here 92 kills for Archaon with that great flaming head. Was able to take out 2 units of Skeleton Warriors. I will say the biggest thing that I had not going for myself is proper micromanagement of those 2 units of Chaos, or unit of Chaos Warriors and unit of Marauders. I could have pushed them through that opening a little bit quicker and gotten a lot more value out of those 2 units. In addition to that, I could have microed my Marauder Horsemen better and gotten more value out of them. Maybe even going out through the flanks or through the back with 1 or 2 of them could have given me a lot more return on or against those Ushabti Great Bows. Because you can see 41, 18, 34, those Ushabti were firing a lot through the entire fight. That's the biggest thing with Ushabti, is they have the mobility to kind of get in and out of combat to continue shooting. But the Shaggoths did great here, 79 and 24 between the Dragon Ogres, and the Shaggoth got 24. But really, Archaon and the Shaggoth, their main goal was to put down Cetra, right? We had to make sure he bent the knee. And that did happen indeed. The Tomb King's Michael Jackson was definitely put down by the Warriors of Chaos here, by those two mammoths as they were. And really, Summoner's Rage got a great return too. 80 kills off those guys. I'm stoked on it. I mean, usually those things get focused down pretty quickly. And as well, you know, a lot of kills across the majority of my line. But again, when you're fighting against Skeleton Warriors, it's easy to rack up those large amount of kills. But overall, a great fight here. Thank you very much to Noob Slayer for fighting me here. My one victory to my one loss earlier here. But as always, guys, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget, we'll be streaming here tomorrow on Wednesday, another Warpstone Cup, another little 1v1 versus, wait, no. It's a 4-person tournament. That's what I'm trying to say. Best of 3 with a culminating match, and a percentage goes to, of course, the winner. But as always, guys, thanks so much for watching here today. Have a good one, and take care.